So this conversation, welcome back, guys. This conversation is quite interesting because I am learning a very different point of view, specifically on the religious side of it. So this guy, I think he's uh, African American, but I could be wrong. But he seemed giving me the impression that he's African or just black. Um, But anyways, interesting conversation. Let's watch it. I'm not going to interrupt throughout the video, but I'll try to give my take at the end of it. Anyways, enjoy.
What type of topic?
I want to learn a little bit more about the conflict between Israel and Palestine.
Do you already have an opinion?
Um, not really. I'm trying to understand the whole thing. Why some people are for Israel and other for Palestine. I know a little bit. I did some research, but you know, I found some weird stuff on both sides, so I'm trying to understand the whole thing.
I guess that's the ultimate. Like if you're not biased, it's yeah. There's weird shit on both sides. I'll be honest. But
What's your take?
Israel is a colonial state. As a black man, you should not support Israel. That's my take.
Okay. Interesting.
Keep it simple.
Okay, so is it just because of that, or
No, of course not. But
what
like,
what what are the other reasons?
I mean, like anybody who goes into a land and kills the people and claims it's theirs because their book said it was theirs, even though when you look at their book, it
Yeah.
says the people of Israel, right? And so here's what they did. They're very smart, by the way.
Okay.
So before 1948, they were planning on taking like a country, right? And so they went to, I think it was Rwanda as
Mm-hmm.
well. I think it was either Rwanda or one of those countries. There were many countries they wanted to take. So they looked at Africa. They said no. Then they looked at Palestine, which was it was modern day. It was Palestine before
Okay.
then. And so they were like, oh look, we're Jewish. Our Torah says that God gave us the land of Israel, right? He
Mm-hmm.
promised the people he promised the people of Israel this land, right?
Yeah.
What the Torah actually means is that so the people of Israel were a tribe, okay?
All right.
So it's not, and so what they did is okay, so they took the land and they named the country Israel so that the Jews in the diaspora not living in Israel can all be like, look, this is our holy land. Our book says this. Let's all move to Israel. That is how they lie to everybody, and like they even this is how they even get the Christian people to support Israel because in the Christian book it also says that God gave the land or God is gonna bless the people of Israel. It's a whole bro. It's so fucked.
Okay.
That's basically like the religious aspect of it, which is a big major part of it.
So for you, it's basically about religion.
It's only about religion. Like deep down, that's the root.
Okay. Um, what would you say? Wait, what are you? Are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Like, do you mind me
No,
asking?
I'm Muslim. I'm an Arab
Yep.
Muslim.
Okay. Um, okay, because Palestine, as we know today, what was it always Palestine?
So the British came in after the Ottoman Empire was dispersed, right? And so they controlled the Middle East,
So
and
who was controlling before? Wait, you said the Ottoman Empire. What is? Sorry, I have to pause here. He said that he's Arab, Muslim. The reason why is because at the beginning, I cut it. Of course, at the beginning he used the N word, so I just assumed that he was black. But I'm just watching the video again, and of course, I'm not really sure because I'm pretty sure Arabs are not black. That's why. Unless I don't know exactly is that. Can you help me understand?
the Ottomans, which was like modern day Turks,
Okay.
um, they basically conquered the majority of the Middle East. And so they basically they were like imagine like the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
You know how the United Kingdom back in the day controlled India, they controlled like a lot of Africa, a lot of the Middle
Yeah.
East, right?
Yeah.
Basically the same thing, but that was before. That was like this was the state of the Ottomans. So they conquered a lot of the Muslim world. And so under
W-
them were like the Arabs, the Kurds, the everyone residing there. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna ask if what religion were they practicing the Ottoman?
They're Muslims.
Okay, interesting. So sorry, let me just go back a little bit. So you said that before 1948,
Yeah.
there was no Jew in Israel, or there were some Jews.
No, no, no. There were. I didn't say that. There were Jews in
Okay,
Israel, in
okay,
Palestine.
but there's a small amount. And then after the British Mandate, they called the other Jews from the diaspora to come in in
There was
Jerusalem.
so. This is my part. I'm gonna be fair. Okay, so I'm gonna
Okay,
say a lot of the Jews, like, they willfully left, and a lot of them also were forced out of their land after the establishment of Israel. The Arabs did not like that, right? They didn't like how they felt like the a Jewish state just came in and
okay,
just kicked the Palestinians out, which were fellow Arabs. So
yeah,
they started killing and attacking their own people, the own Jewish people that lived. Like, for example, there was a large Jewish population in Yemen, in Iraq, in Syria, whatever, and so they were like attacked. So they also, not only were they willingly left, but they also were forced out of the land,
interesting.
of their hometown. So yeah,
Okay, but
but also a
ultimately,
bunch of them also a bunch of them, like majority of them came from Europe too, not just the Middle
yeah,
East.
yeah, okay, okay. So ultimately, regardless of the fact that they got kicked out and what happened in the World War II, they are you saying that because of the book, they were bound to claim that territory no matter what?
What do you mean they're bound to claim the territory?
Because he said that you know, based on the Torah, they
Hmm.
believed and they told people, they convinced people that that was the land. I like that's what I'm trying to understand. They had the idea to conquer Palestine even before the exclusion from other countries, or they just invented that to
Yeah.
go and conquer Palestine.
No, it wasn't that like they looked at Palestine and said like we don't like Palestinian people, we're gonna kill them. Like, it wasn't like that. It was
Okay.
the Jewish people after Hitler, World War II and everything.
Yeah.
They felt like they were persecuted, and they felt like they deserved a homeland. And they like there was multiple places they looked at. Like I said, mentioned Africa. That was one of them. Even like some random spots they thought of picking it. But what would resonate the most with the Jewish people, the Jewish population around the world, was to have a religious backing, so that they not only do they have a land, but they have a reason for people to leave the current land that they're in and go to Israel. So if they
Okay.
convince people, look, if you're a Jew, you're gonna have a land, and look, your God also says here in the Torah that God will bless the people of Israel
Yeah.
here, and they also named it Israel for that reason. Then, like, could you imagine if you were a Jew, you'd be like, well, this is perfect. I'm gonna leave my homeland and go there where my people are. That's basically the idea.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
do you know where the Jews like originally come from?
The Jews originally come from, like, what do you mean, the land?
Yeah, where did everything started from for them?
The Jews, I believe they originated in, I mean, that could be wrong, but it's like Judea, which is
Yeah.
the same territory, right? But
Okay.
the issue isn't that we
Okay.
disagree with that. We agree with that,
Okay.
but we believe that, I mean, Judaism is not only a religion, but it's also like a race now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you'll look at Israeli Jews. You'd see one that looks like a Middle Eastern man, and you will see one that looks like a European man, like
For
Benjamin
sure.
Netanyahu, and then
Yeah.
whatever. So after they were kicked out many times from their land,
Okay.
and there were times where they were even living with Arabs, and they were living with like Canaanites, which were like mix of Arabs and whatever. Like
Okay.
Jerusalem wasn't strictly Jewish. That's not the argument. It was
Okay.
many people living together.
Mm-hmm.
And so they after they got kicked out, they went to Europe, they went to wherever.
Yeah.
Um, so I understand why they could be like, well, it was our land, blah blah blah, but it was never 100% Jewish. It was more like, um,
Like a group of
it,
people.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, that's what I mean.
And what you're saying is that those who got kicked out and those who stayed want now to have the whole thing for themselves, and that's the unfair part of it.
Yeah, that's where they bring back the religious reasoning. Like, even if you
Okay.
look at Netanyahu's uh, speeches, He talks
Mm-hmm.
about a greater Israel.
Yeah.
Initially, what was Israel all about? It was just giving a home for the, it's giving a home to the Jews because they don't have one. And so,
Yeah.
you know, that's easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy for everyone to be like, yeah, they deserve one. Of course, every people deserve a homeland. But
Okay.
now, not only now that they have that, they're trying to expand, and they're going to do the same thing where they kick out people. Now, you look at Israel right now. What are they doing? They just took over southern Lebanon. They're taking
Yeah.
that over.
Mm-hmm.
The plan is to take over that whole area up to the Euphrates. So it's not. It's and yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, because you're talking about the plan of the expansion. I heard that Netanyahu was helping Hamas at the time to take control because they were fighting power. They were trying to gain power against Fatah, I think, the
Yeah.
PA, the PLO.
Hmm.
But then Netanyahu was some people say that Israel is helping terrorism and all that stuff
It's
so that
true.
they can have a
It's true.
reason to push. Do you share that opinion as well?
I believe there's like significant information, like there's a significant reason to believe that is true.
Okay.
Like they would do that, and even with October, I don't mean to bring this up, but like October 7th,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like there's a lot of examples of Israel knowing, like having prior information about it happening.
Yeah.
Like even Egypt had warned them about, like before, and
Mm-hmm.
that Israel kind of used it as a 9/11 to use October 7th as an excuse
Yeah.
to by allowing the invasion, and then because of that having retaliation, kind of like, you know how in 9/11 um the twin towers collapsed, right? And beforehand there was really there's no reason to convince the Americans to invade Iraq. But after that, after 9/11, you convince the Americans, look, it's Iraq that did this and they killed our people. So now
Yeah.
everyone supports it. That is basically the same thing. It's a false
Interesting.
flag.
Interesting. Um, do you now I want to go on the other side. Um, do you think the either the PA in the West Bank or Hamas in Gaza, do you think they play a part into um do you think they're trying to find a solution, or you think they want the whole thing for themselves?
It's kind of, it's hard to answer. I don't know. And for me, I don't even know if it's possible, you know? Like it's like how is that even gonna like come about?
So you
Um
don't believe in a two-state solution?
I think, like, I mean, I think if they do it, it just wouldn't make sense, and then eventually the same thing's gonna happen. People are gonna, 100 years later, they're gonna attack. Same bullshit. It's not. I think it's a religious thing. It's a biblical thing. There's no way you could kind of fix that whole situation. That's my
Interesting.
opinion.
Oh, thank you very
Yeah.
much. I really, really appreciate your opinion. It gives me a better perspective because
Yeah.
I didn't know about what you said in terms of the plan, how they went to Africa to, try to find a place for them over there, and then they found uh, the Middle East, more specifically
Yeah.
the Levant, to uh,
Yeah.
to conquer the area. So, anyways, thank you. I appreciate it.
My brother.
So that was an interesting conversation. I did learn a lot, definitely, and you could see throughout the conversation how he had specific views, and I think with curiosity and just sharing and talking, I'm not sure if his position changed, but you can definitely see that at the end, um, he doesn't believe in a two-state solution because ultimately it is a religious conflict. We hear a lot that the conflict it's about, you know, um, other things and whatnot, but this is one of the only person that that suggests the conflict is purely religious. So interesting. Catch you later on the next one.